I'm Peter Madden and this is A Conservative Voice. In this edition I want to talk about the growing phenomenon of gradual but open sedition in Australia. What do I mean by sedition? The legal definition of sedition is overt conduct such as speech and organisation that is deemed by the legal authority to tend towards insurrection against the established order. It often includes subversion of a constitution and incitement of discontent or resistance to lawful authority. In the course of the last month, we've seen two glaringly obvious examples of seditious behaviour. The first was the outrageous violence and seditious behaviour on Saturday, September 15th, of the Islamist militants in Sydney's Hyde Park, the day prior to Hizb ut-Tahrir's Muslims Arise conference in Bankstown. The second is clearly the seditious behaviour of the homosexual lobby through the Tasmanian State Parliament pushing for homosexual marriage. Now, after losing the same-sex marriage battle in federal parliament, the homosexual lobby are now trying to push it through the back door in the state parliaments. Now, they lost again in Tasmania, but they're going to take it from state to state, trying to find a way to get this dangerous, destabilising social experimentation passed into law. Now, why do I call this sedition? It's about the behaviour and the intent of both the Islamist lobby and the homosexual lobby. It's worthy of note that not many will speak out about the sedition of these two groups, because not only are they the most vocal minority groups in Australia and other Western nations, but they are also the most intimidating groups. Why? Because of their newly acquired power, the very real power that is coming from the growing raft of legislation being passed throughout the Western world. Laws with titles such as vilification laws, tolerance laws, discrimination laws, or sometimes hate crime legislation. Now, playing the victim card, both these lobby groups cry discrimination whenever anybody speaks out against their agenda. In the case of the Islamist lobby, it's all about seeking the caliphate, the grand Muslim empire based on a fundamentalist Muslim vision that this Muslim empire will rule the world. Islamists, like those of the Hyde Park rebel, seek for Sharia law to be implemented into Australia, a law that is totally contrary to the Australian Constitution. This is sedition. Then in the case of the homosexual lobby, I will cite a lawyer on this case, actually a senior lecturer in constitutional law at Monash University, Augusto Zimmerman. Now, he states uncategorically that the Commonwealth Parliament has the power to pass any law dealing with the subject of marriage. Secondly, Commonwealth law supersedes contradictory state law or territory law. Thirdly, under the Marriage Amendment Act 2004, the Australian states have no power to legislate for same-sex marriages. If a state or territory passes a same-sex marriage law, such an act will be struck down by the High Court as inconsistent with the Commonwealth legislation. Still, they try to push this back door. The behaviour of both these lobbies is clearly seditious. So why aren't they addressed as such? According to our legal definition, they have to be deemed as such by the legal authority. Now, Hizb ut-Tahrir's seditious agenda has caused them to be banned around the world in nations such as Bangladesh, Denmark, Germany, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Pakistan, Russia, Syria, Tajikistan, Turkey, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan, among other nations. So why isn't it banned here? What's happening here in Australia that our legal authority doesn't deem this insidious agenda and action of these groups as seditious? Or what of the homosexual lobby's behaviour? The question is, if a state government passes same-sex marriage in Australia, will our legal authority challenge the resistance to lawful authority? Will our attorneys general or our High Court question this insurrection against the established order? Either way, if fear of discrimination legislation silences our leaders and politicians, it mustn't silence us, the voice of conservative Australian people.